specifically News Center for the next 1 hour. And we continue with what we have for you during News Center. I was about to say today, but during News Center, and the African countries have been challenged to develop curricula that are responsive to the emerging needs and challenges of the society and continent at large. Speaking at the 4th African Curriculum Association Conference held in Nairobi, Basic Education Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang further called on educators to endeavor to strike a balance between knowledge acquisition and application.
The 4th African Curriculum Association Conference saw curriculum developers from across the continent converge in Nairobi. And with the conference centered around curriculum and pedagogy, classroom-based assessment and learning educational organization, early childhood learning, learners' diversity and identity, speakers talked of the need to have responsive and future-focused curricula. In his address to the delegates, Basic Education Principal Secretary Dr. Belio Kipsang challenged curriculum developers and educators to find a link between knowledge acquisition and application.
African countries should focus on designing curricula that develop learners' competencies as opposed to those which just make our learners people who just memorize for reproduction. Curricula should be responsive to the 21st century demands and promote STEM as they engage and as we engage in curriculum reform. It's so important because the future is about what we should be able to do with the knowledge that we have acquired.
On his part, Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development Chief Executive Charles Angondo called on African countries to set up a curriculum development framework for the purpose of removing barriers and other cross-border educational challenges. With the conference taking place at a time Kenya is implementing curriculum review, the delegates were further told of the need for countries to set up permanent commissions on curriculum reforms, which will be charged with the responsibility to manage curriculum reviews and reforms.
But before this working party, there were others who also said and gave us directions. You are also now giving us directions. What happens when another one is formed in 2 years' time and gives us directions? So what do you do as curriculum developers? Do you always wait to be told now this route, or is it possible, ACA, that we can get ourselves, if I may preempt my conclusion, to a point where we say the curriculum development process could be left to that permanent commission which wakes up every day to think about where we should go? And I'll give you a basic example. One commission will tell you, our curriculum is overloaded, can you remove the learning areas? Another one will tell you, our curriculum is so thin, can you add more learning areas in this bit and bit? What do you do?
The discussions further made recommendations on how Africa can make progress towards holistic hybrid modes of education.